Now live. Okay. I am now live. I am waiting. Okay. All right. Let me try this myself. Assemble. Cancel. What is that? There we go. Did I do it? Hey, Envy, I'm trying to get Nola in. Yep, she's coming in again. I'm gonna get this, I promise you.
How does that always work with me in here? With that? Okay.
Okay. We're gonna get it. It's not working. So it came early. Mm-mm. Hey there, Jessica. There we go. Where you going? Oh,
I'm
you
closing
closing
the
your door?
door so we're not reverberating.
You should have closed mine too,
Okay. Why is yours open?
because you left out of
Okay, you know what?
it. All right. Hey, Nola. She'll be back. All right. How y'all doing this Friday evenings and nights and afternoons and all of that? I know. You gotta love it. Okay. All right. Here we is. Okay. I am Dr. Donna Louise Thomas-Rodgers, daughter of Leslie Darnell Thomas, granddaughter of Arthur Jethro Evelyn II, and great granddaughter of Levi Thomas. And this is Nola. Throw all that lineage on there and just throw Harvey in there, and that's who she is. And go one level up on all of that. Okay, today we are here to talk about Be Coachable. Yes, and so I'm going to just give you an overview of Be Coachable brain regions, and then we can talk back and forth and get it together as no. Okay.
I'm trying to figure
Get
out
angry. Okay.
this shot. I tried to do it ahead of time, but I don't.
Okay.
Okay.
All right, you
I think
good?
I think we're good.
Okay.
Is this
All
okay?
right. So the brain regions that you use to be coachable are your prefrontal cortex, and this is your thinking cap. It helps you stay open-minded, listen, and process feedback without jumping to conclusions. And I am born Nola.
I just woke up from a nap. Yeah, no.
We got this is the co-host, okay? You got it? All right. Next is the anterior cingulate cortex. And so think of this as your error detection. It helps you notice mistakes, recognizes when you don't know something, and be okay with learning from others. Next is the insula. It's the part that helps you feel what's going on inside of you, like nerves, embarrassment, or excitement, and it turns those feelings into growth instead of shutting down. Okay. Dude, you took a nap. You're going to have to stay awake for
This
this.
is me waking up.
Okay. Hippocampus. This is your memory center, and this helps you remember coaching. You're going to start talking so that way you can stop yawning. This is no brainer right now. Remember coaching tips and apply them later so you can actually improve. So here is the takeaway. Being coachable means putting on your thinking cap, noticing where you can improve, managing your feelings, and storing the lessons so you get better every time and over time. So that is the whole point. Now, Nola wants me to refer to her as my best student, but I also have to say she was my worst student. Okay, that's how that goes. That's the reality of the situation. That is the reality of the situation. That she has just woken up from her nap. So we go see how this goes today. So Nola, what was it like when you were not being coachable? Walk us through that process.
Okay.
what okay, do you need the question again?
No, I got it. I was adjusting the thing. I will have a better idea of where to make my shot next time. So
Okay.
you were saying what it means to me to be coachable?
When you weren't coachable, what was happening when you were not coachable?
I wasn't being coached. I was
Oh
not.
God.
li-
Oh my gosh.
I
Okay.
wasn't
What?
listening.
Oh,
Yeah, yeah. I wasn't. So for me, I'm one of those people, and she's a term she's used before. She's called it QE. So I have a high IQ off top.
her
My,
IQ is higher than mine.
is 128, and people are like, that's high. I'm like, but I'm not a genius. So what does it matter? Anyway, um, but anyway, the point is that for me, and I don't know if it's ADHD, being a Sagittarius, being a Rogers or whatever, but for as far as me with being coachable, I wanted to know. So the biggest reason why I couldn't get learn to improve is because I already wanted to be an expert without
Mhm.
having any skill development or experience.
Yeah.
I wanted to come to the shit of 10th degree black belt.
Right.
So that was the biggest thing is I'm like, bro, how you gonna tell me how to do what to do? I know what I'm doing, even though I don't know what I'm doing. So the biggest thing of me not being coachable is not wanting to be coached. I wanted to be an expert. I did not want to be a beginner learner. I didn't want to have to start at the beginning. I didn't want to be a novice in new things, and that's part of the problem. And that's why people think people with high IQs are assholes because they are. Guilty. Okay. Oh, because I know everything, and I've gotten
Yeah.
better at that. And part of it is because I went to school with people that were smarter than me, so I always felt like I was incompetent because I took honors classes or stuff after. So there's always somebody smarter. Or people be like, "Oh, you think you're smart, but he's smarter. He can code or whatever." There's all this Bobby DeGasio or whatever his name is. They're always trying to compare me to him, and he went to Harvard, but he was a coder, so he went to the wrong school in Cambridge. He was supposed to be at MIT, so. Yeah, and then he ended up being in law. So he got up there and realized he wasn't even good at tech. So where's Bobby now? Anyway, anyway, so the biggest problem with people not wanting to be coachable is because they want to already know, and this is a problem with young people in general, regardless of IQ. Young people always think they know everything. Again, guilty. And you got to be
Mhm.
willing. The first step of being coachable is realizing you're not the coach, you're not the expert, you
Uh-uh.
don't know what you're doing, and you have little to no experience. If you're not open to that, nothing, it's not gonna work.
It is not going to work. That is very good. And so, what we're saying when we say QEs is that's people with high IQs. So, we gave them a name so that we would be able to express who they are. And so, Nola was in elementary school. She was in Math Gate, which is high level math. But then by sixth grade, she went to a magnet school. And so, they had 9 classes. It's college prep. She had to take Spanish in sixth grade, had algebra by the ninth grade, graduated a year early, all of these things. So,
No,
from
no, no. You got that wrong. I had algebra. I had honors
eighth
algebra
grade.
in 8th grade. That's
Eighth
why I
grade.
had the right. I
Did
was
you right?
taking
So
geometry as a freshman.
You had geometry as a freshman, right? So graduates from high school a year early with an honors diploma, 4.0 on the weighted scale, and so she's
Well, I
been
did
around.
11th and 12th grade combined.
I forgot. So she did 11th and 12th grade combined, 2019 to 2020, and so as a
With
result, during
honors
COVID,
classes.
honors classes. The only honors class she didn't have was physics.
Yeah,
Everything else,
it was physics. I
it
need,
was
yeah.
physics.
When I got into it, I was like, yeah, it was okay. This wasn't an honors class. I did.
Right.
This is
And
enough. Mhm.
And so she had honors classes the whole time, graduated with an honors diploma, number 11, no, number 17 out of 201. And it was only 11 people in her graduating class that had honors diplomas. So with three mental illnesses, ADD, ADHD, touch of autism. And so that's how that goes. So being around smart kids the entire time, going to high school around rich kids and all of these other things, it gets you to a level where you have this big giant ego and you think you know everything. And now here comes this person, a la me, telling her you don't know everything, but you can know everything. I used to tell her all the time, boy, when you start listening and communicating effectively and asking questions, you're going to be dangerous. You're going to be dangerous. But it took her, yes, ma'am.
Hold up, hold on.
Okay.
Introducing dangerous. I am in fact dangerous now.
Yes, you are in fact dangerous now. Yes, you are. And as I mentioned before, she was featured in the USA Today in the economy section for Gen Zs doing gig work as an alternative to being able to afford a lifestyle, and then also in Nerd Wallet as well. So these things are the aftermath of her not listening. So Nola, can you give us just a couple of times when you were provided with coaching and then you didn't listen to the coaching? And do you have anything off the top of your head?
Shoot, okay. Give me a couple examples. I mean, give me a second. Hold up. One, I
Let you
think
gather
about
your
to
thoughts.
sneeze. Hold
Okay. Okay.
up.
Be well.
The benefits of being in a tripod, though, I can get out the shot with
You can
sneeze.
get
I
out
don't
the
have to be
shot
all
and
up in
go ahead and
everybody's
sneeze.
face with the sneeze and blow the camera away. That's not gonna work.
Right. It's gonna be on the
Anywho,
floor. Yes.
yeah, how I sneeze, it will be on the floor.
Uh-huh. And if you all have questions for Nola, feel free to ask them. She will answer them.
Examples of being coachable, anything assembled related, I didn't do. Um, some of my early cooking things, either too raw or too burnt. Um, just operating anything, alarm clocks, timers for stoves, laundry, anything you've had to teach me, I basically did it myself first and then had to unlearn cleaning things, just, yeah, basically anything.
And so what was the switch for you? When did you legally look without getting me put on a 72-hour hold at Clark County? What made you switch and go from not being coachable to being coachable?
I will say one thing that helped me was coaching myself in the sense of uh because then I saw how difficult it is when other people don't listen to you, and I was like, oh, this kind of sucks. I should start doing it. That's one thing that helped me. But additionally, I would just say, kind of with assembled with you begrudgingly teaching me how to do things because I wasn't open to it, and then me seeing that I could learn how to do new things between you teaching me how to do things with customer service, or one thing prior to me doing assembled that I wasn't good at was taking instructions and completing projects, obviously ADHD. But so once I could see, I kept having like run rate where this was something I didn't know how to do, and now I know how to do it, and I'm having like 20 instances of that per week because
Yes.
everything I'm doing I've never done before. I'm like, okay, I can learn how to do something from scratch and then get good at it. And so from there, I was like, okay, well, you're making the process more difficult by being an asshole. Just
Yes.
start listening, being open to it, and then you can learn new things faster. And this kind of goes back to what I said on the last live, where the thing that I was thinking is the biggest issue that I came into childhood and adult life with was all the information you knew was all the information you knew, and if you didn't know it, you won't know it. And so that's what you always say, ABL, always be learning. So when I learned that I could get any skill I wanted and I could be taught anything, that's what kind of opened me up to like, I don't have to fight this or think I should already know. And that, what I will go back to is being in settings with nothing but smart people. and part of it, we're just, as we currently live in America, as a country, the whole standard is you should already know. So, like, because I do things with sports now, coaches already want players to come pre-developed. They want coaches that are pre-developed. So I'm
Yeah.
like, where are
Uh-huh.
the players being developed? Where are the coaches being developed? So everybody, now we're in a culture of everybody has to know, especially with social media. But when you're in these settings with these smart students, they're like, oh, I already knew that. This is so easy. So when I had my instances when we didn't necessarily know about my learning disabilities when I was a child, and I would be slower to things, people would be like, oh, you're taking so long. Why do you, we're having to wait on you. You're not done with the test. You're smart. You're whatever. So then they kind of, you start getting bullied for not knowing. And so that
Uh-huh.
makes you to not, makes you want to stay in a box to never venture out to things that you don't already know. And that's part of the reason why you do kind of see it with coaches and stuff now, players now, people at corporations now, they're taking over unqualified because the whole, they feel they were supposed to already know, and they were. Nobody's taking the time to teach or develop. So we are in a
Uh-huh.
culture now where you should know. And so nobody feels safe in developing.
Right. Definitely. I thank you for that answer. And so the other thing that I would say is when Nola is talking about assemble, that's her business. That's her furniture assembly business. So if you hear her saying assemble, you can go to her Instagram, look at all the stuff she's built. She has 2,300 completed projects. So that's thousands and thousands and thousands of pieces of furniture and thousands and thousands and thousands of
Because
screws
I
and
have,
locks and everything else.
yeah, because I've had jobs where I've mounted 20, 30, 20 shades, 30 pictures, 44 chairs, 44 office chairs, and the 30 pieces of furniture in a house and stuff. So it is like, I did work at IKEA a couple years back at their actual store, and I did, one of the days I did 28 pieces of furniture in one day. So the projects is a large scope. It really
It
is, like you
is.
said, thousands of thousands, because it will be nothing for a client to be like, hey, mount 13 blinds and 4 televisions. And
Yeah.
so
In the same
it
day. We're getting this stuff done in the same day. So rarely does it is rare. Like we helped somebody make a bookstore. What was it, 40
that day
bookcases?
it ended up being 40 over the course because he had to wait for orders to come. But the first day we did 30. That's a prime example. Another time, 30 items built same day.
30 bookcases in one day at a bookstore. Because when you go in a bookstore, you don't really think about the bookshelves. But when you start from scratch, all those bookshelves have to be
You're like,
built.
dang, it takes this many to fill a bookstore. Lord
Right.
Jesus.
And then they have to be mounted too. So then you have to
Oh
secure them to
yeah.
the wall
And I
because
had to come back
you
another day
never
to
went to a
mount them once they
bookstore and
were all
pulled the
done.
book off and the whole shelf came
Because
down on you.
it was
Yes.
targeted towards children. It had some Legos and stuff, and it had an adult component, but there were going to be kids there, so it had to be secure. And there, I even had to mount some of the shorter ones together so that they
Yes.
would stay.
And
Hmm.
not move.
With
So,
brackets, yeah.
okay, so basically what you're saying is you were a QE, then you became an adult, and then you thought, this is how I'm going to be. I can't change because of a fixed mindset. Then you started having multiple appointments, 2 to 3 appointments a day, 5 to 6 days a week. And then you realized, I got to start listening. You raising your hand. Go ahead.
Here's the thing, and part of it, we're seeing this with one of my clients' children, and we've seen it with other clients that stayed in education. A lot of times, what happens to QEs is they stay in educated form, so they get a bunch of degrees. Not you. You were overcoming things, and you weren't actually the
I'm
best
not a
student
genius.
out of high school. So you had good grades, but this was actually an accomplishment for you. But for people that is already easy for, they were actually staying in their comfort zone by keep getting degrees and degrees. You were pushing yourself. Um
Yes.
and because of where you were coming
I
from,
did not,
nobody
one
thought you
second,
were going
Nola.
to get.
I did not graduate number 17 out of 201. I was 347 out of 602. So I was at
Yeah,
the bottom half of my
I don't even
class.
know if people thought you were going to get the first degree, but they definitely didn't think
Right.
you were going to be Dr. Donna. No
They did not.
offense, but
They did not. They so did not. It is only
but there
six of
were
us.
not high hopes for you. So
Well, hold up. I'll be right back, y'all. I got to go pick my face up. Okay. All right.
no,
I'm
but
back.
so what happens to a lot of people, especially now because of the culture we're in, people are fear risk averse, which you have things that principles that are about risk. We can get to that later, but I'm just touching base on it briefly now, is people are risk adverse. And so what you have is people just stay in the same thing because they're scared to
Yes.
do anything. So smart people just stay in education. So they would just get every degree till they can't get degrees anymore and then work at college. So they
Right.
never have to leave school.
They never leave.
Or
Yes, ma'am.
even with athletes, they will be in sports, play sports, coach. They're never leaving. They're gonna be a trainer. They're gonna be so everybody stays in their thing. The one thing they're good at, and
Yes.
so then you have a lifetime of that, and there people are missing out on getting new skills. And part of one thing that I could say was inspirational. Can I use inspiration? Because I know you don't like motivation. Can I say inspiration?
You can say empowerment if you don't want me to break out in hives. Go ahead. One time. You can say it one time. Go ahead.
Okay. One,
I'll plug
but
my
because I'm
ears.
talking about you. I'm
Oh, hell no. You can't. No, no. You can't.
okay.
You can say empowerment.
One thing that's empowered me with you is because you have had so many different success in so many different industries that I'm like, not only can I best one thing, but I could be best in a bunch of things. And that's the part of the reason if more people learn that they can be lifelong learners, like you don't have to have one career for the rest of your life. You read a book called The 100 Years Life. It's like you could be award winning, nationally renowned, or best in three, four different industries and
Uh-huh.
move on. Or even if you do smaller things, you could be seven or eight different industries. So you don't have to be stuck in this one thing. And that's one thing, even within my own coaches, is exposing people to best. When you
Mhm.
expose people to best and they see that in themselves for a time, that can never go away.
Yes. It is. Thank you for asking, Jessica. Yes, inspiring is like motivation. They're right there. They're cousins. They're first cousins. And so it's empowerment and discipline as opposed to inspiring and motivation. I'm going to
Empower
inspire you
people.
today. I'm going to
Empower
inspire you.
empower others is a principle of real leadership.
It
So by
is.
the way, yeah.
So discipline is motivation and empowering is inspiring. So if you make that word choice, it does matter. If you want to look them up, you can see the difference in them if you get the detailed version of that as well. So one thing I'd like to say, Nola, before you go on is this. So I'm going to use myself as the example of switching industries. So I started out, I have a bachelor's degree in public law and government, and I started out as a military police officer in the Army. Got my master's degree in criminal justice because they would only pay for a master's degree in your MOS. Then next, I got empowering. Yes, it does. And then next, I worked at Frito-Lay. I started out as the second shift manager of the whole plant on second shift. Then I went to the warehouse, which is different from manufacturing. Then I went to the traffic center and managed the traffic center, 120 drivers. Then I went to sales ops. I was a facility operations manager. Then I became a zone operations manager. Then I became a mega zone operations manager. Then I left because I came to my senses, helped my sister build out her business for 3 years, ventured out on my own, and I've been on my own for the last 12 years. And I say all of that to say that my doctorate is in organizational leadership and business management. Obviously, I have my book, Real Leaders Wear Pink. And so in all of those things, as a military officer, I received the top block. My OER safe promoted head of peers. I had an HHD command soon, had my master's degree before I even went to CAS Cube, was going to be the company commander of the division MPs at Fort Campbell. So hua hua rah rah at Frito-Lay, won 2 Doolins at Herman Lay. And I got awards for business. I have 5 different speaking communications certifications, bunch
Yeah,
of
you have a
certifications from the Army, 3 degrees, all of that. Viral on social media, billions of views on Jiffy, and all these other things. So to Nola's point, you can be the best is one of the 74 principles of real leadership. So you can be the best at everything that you do. So it's
well,
not, oh, I should have stayed in law enforcement, or I should have stayed in food and beverage, or I should have stayed in small business. And how dare I start teaching adults about how the brain functions when my background is not in neuroscience, but it's becoming my background so that I can teach adults how the brain functions so you can use the 74 principles of real leadership to become your best. So once you master something, you can move on and do something else. The reason why people stay in their thing is because in order for you to learn something new, you need to access the dentate gyrus, which is in the hippocampus, and you got to challenge yourself. But if you've been badass for 10 years in this one thing, and now you got to go over here and be a novice in this other thing, you're not going to be coachable. Nola
Well,
has to come in here for now and turn on the live, because I'm used to going live by myself, but now with a co-host. Eventually, I will get it and I will be able to do it myself. But I have no problem with y'all seeing her come in here and tell me what I need to do, because this is new for me. This live was her idea. So the
right.
problem is when people become experts or experts in one area, their ego jumps in, hijacks their amygdala, and now the last thing that they want to do is not look like an expert. I don't care about that. Yes, Nola, go ahead.
So one thing, I was joking about this picture last time, but this is, I painted this, but the story behind that was actually during the pandemic. I did a turnaround risk, and it was like learn how to do a how-to video, and I drew a picture using one of them YouTube videos using the letters. And so during the pandemic, from April all the way to, I don't know,
Might have been
maybe
your
like
birthday.
halfway through 2021, every day I drew a picture. And so I have these little art books that I ended up making with duct tape, and I did buildings, superheroes, comic books, cars, and everything. That came from a turnaround risk. And so because I had did the art every day, if you look at that first Hulk picture I did versus this, where it's got the paint and everything in it, that was something that I had to best and do skill development. But so that's something that I don't even bring up to people. I'm not like, I did good in art or whatever, and I had a natural talent, but you can be good at more than one thing, and you can be best at more than one thing.
That's absolutely correct. So Nola, before we move on, does anybody have questions for Nola?
Dot dot dot.
Now you see the importance of dot dot dot.
Oh, oh, oh.
Envy does. Can you see it?
Makes me
What?
think I was good at drawing. Oh, oh, okay. At a
I
young,
got it.
oh, okay, hold
Go
up.
ahead.
At at a young age, people said it's me, it's my calling. If not trying different, I wouldn't. No, I love music so much that I enjoy healthcare if I stayed only in drawing, and that's true. You gotta, and you. The thing is you could be great at multiple things at the same time.
Uh-huh.
What happens if it's opposite? I start new things and then I get to a certain level and then I move on to a new job or idea or project. Well, you gotta, her whole thing is that you gotta master it before you move on.
Right.
So
Yes.
it's not project jumping, hobby jumping, category jumping. It's I was the best at it, now I'm moving on.
Right. So the example that I would use again is when I went in the military, I was it was 95. So women couldn't go to combat yet. So I couldn't go mechanized infantry, and I've said this before. So I only had two options: air defense, artillery, or military police. I was not about to be launching no Patriots and no Scuds, so I went with the MPs. But MPs, you got to be creme de la creme. So they only made up 3% of the officer corps in the entire United States Army. And so to have been that, I was the only African American female MP in year group 96 in the entire army. That's how, so that's like elite. It was only one. It was me. And that was it. Yes, ma'am.
And I've had multiple elite taskers within my years of being on TaskRabbit and other things. So I have 5-star reviews on Yelp. I have to be knocking at 1,200 5-star reviews on actual TaskRabbit, and then I've had Elite Tasker, which is a monthly award based upon metrics and everything. I would say of all the time I've been on there, I would say probably if I've been on there little over 4.5 months, there's maybe 2 or 3 months that I wasn't at it just because of
Four and
different
a half
things.
years. Yeah,
Four and a
four and
half
a half
years, I
years.
mean, four and a
Uh-huh.
half years, maybe 2 or 3 months total not being an elite tasker, and I was elite by my second or third month in.
Right.
So
And
that's what we're saying with best.
so, Jessica, so what you have to do is best it, and then you can move on to the next thing. You said, oh, okay, I got scared to fail, but this is why I'm trying to work on my follow through so I can master what I start. Yes, and finish what you start is one of the 74 principles of real leadership. So, as a result, when you start it, you don't do anything without a strategy, and then you finish it, and that means you've mastered it, and that's why you can move on. So, what happens with go? Okay.
The one thing that you always said, or it is what I used to know how to get best at something, is find out what best is in the thing you're doing. So what is best? And then when you start focusing, being laser focused on achieving that, then failure goes out the window because it's like,
Right.
keep going. I'm not done yet. I didn't get to my goal. I
Right.
still have work to do.
Nola Envy's asked, can I ask what's something you tried that you didn't think you liked and or be good at, and then you ended up excelling in it?
Of this business. I wanted to do something tech related. I applied to 85 different things on um what you call Indeed based upon experience that she gave me. So I've been doing video editing and graphic design since I was about 10, 11 years old. So I was trying to do something in that field, graphic design and all of those types of things. I actually at one point when I graduated out of high school had a clothing brand. So
Mhm.
yeah. One of these days I'll probably bring because I still have some of the apparel from it. So I tried different things, and how could I forget? I was doing custom sneakers too, from this art. So I took it to the shoes. The thing is, and I have one pair of those left to be able to show as well.
I
And we'll
have a
get to that.
pair. I have number twos.
Okay, well then I have tear two, two,
Uh-huh.
two left, and then so what I will say is with the symbol, I was just trying to do. I was just trying to see what was going to work, and I did not know it was going to turn into this whole thing where I was going to have business models and working with businesses and doing trade shows and working for corporations and doing things for companies. I mean, we did a 90 what we call it, with about a 90-inch wide giant photo at a Banana Republic
At the
location
mall.
at
At
the Fashion Show Mall. So
the on the
if you're
strip.
ever in Vegas and you go to Fashion Show, go to Banana Republic. There's gonna be a giant line on the wall. We mounted that.
Yes.
um so the I didn't think that. However, part of it I was just trying to see what works, and part of it is when you are trying to get the best, you end up reaching heights and things you never expected. So, yeah. Mhm. So
Yes.
that's an example. One thing that I thought I was going to be good at that I sucked at was driving. It took me forever to get a driver's license. I failed
Uh-huh.
the driver's test 3 times in a row. Finally got it on the fourth time. But interesting enough, I finally passed my driver's test after I had 2 months of doing assembled appointments through TaskRabbit. This was the first one I started out because I didn't even have assembled. And so by having to basically face fear and take risks every day, when I came back to do the test again, it didn't even seem like that big of a deal. And that's the other thing. When
I was
you
going to
keep
say that.
pushing yourself, then certain things don't even seem hard anymore.
And that's what I was about to say. So the point is that because I do so much now, when it was time for her to start her business, I had already done so much that other than me being a germaphobe, and it was in 2020, February 2021, and the global pandemic was still going on. Other than that, because of all of that experience that I had, when I went to those appointments, I could say, you need to drop off. You need to do this. You got to ask questions. And so setting up that business model was nothing for me because of how much I had already done. So when you challenge yourself on a daily basis and you keep getting those new neurons, when she first started her business, and I say this all the time, she had the IKEA mom bed, and it took her 2.5 hours to put it together. She could knock that out in like 35 minutes now because we've done Murphy beds, hydraulic beds, beds with drawers, with floating drawers, headboards with LED lights, all kind of stuff, Chinese joinery and everything.
Mounted
So we have
headboards.
mounted headboards, the Nordly and everything else. So when we go, we got IKEA appointment tomorrow. There's nothing. IKEA used to take us out, and now it's like, oh, we got a light day tomorrow. It really don't matter how much it is because that's one of the simplest pieces of furniture that she could put together. Because now we've had to put office furniture together with no pre-drill holes and Chinese with one page of instructions. So that's the level. And
And then
now,
and this and
and
part
I
of it
say I'm just cutting boxes. This is her
the
putting this stuff together.
the
Let's be
pressure
realistic.
and part of it is the pressure because of pushing myself. Now I'm in these high stress situations. So I was mounting glass uh whiteboards at the Canes district office. I don't know if you're Raising Cane's, the chicken finger company. And so the pressure of that, if I wasn't good at what I was doing, I would crack under pressure. And that was glass. I could have cracked the actual board.
Right.
But with that construction office we were at, the guy, he wasn't the nicest person in the world. But if I wasn't skilled, then I would have cracked under that pressure and I wouldn't have been able to do it. But part of it because of how many things I've had to put together, that was my first time putting things together in Chinese. And because I've put together, I would say hundreds of desks, I knew how desks went. So I was like, I have an idea of what this looks like. I just need a matter of how do we get there.
Nola, this is Sean, and she says, may I ask Nola, how did you network your business to collaborate with other businesses?
So part of it is I did some things through TaskRabbit. I got recommendations from clients. I had clients I did work for and they had businesses or they worked places and they were like, "Hey, you did such a great job at my house. You're going to do something at my job or my business." And then we're going to go from there. So I've used TaskRabbit, word of mouth, my website, Yelp, and social media as ways to bring in business because I've had clients from everything: Instagram, Facebook, Yelp, TaskRabbit, and then I've been featured in some articles as well. Word of mouth is good because there's been a lot of people I've had jobs for, and then you never know who they know. So
Mm-hmm.
that's one thing that I've done. But part of it, and I when I recently did one of the articles, I said the 5-star service. So like I did
Mm-hmm.
at East Oak, which is a popular patio furniture company. We did a good job. We were working the whole time. Their employees weren't working. Other people left. I had a saw in the car because they needed their pallet broken down and stuff. So the 5-star service is what really made me blow up. And it's that be the best principle of real leadership that I had to be coached to get because I didn't have
Yes, right.
it.
Did not
um,
have, did
so
not.
what we've had, because we've even had, we're not, I'm not trying to get political, Trump supporters, but we've had people literally have like Trump supporter, Confederate flag. They don't like us. They don't like gay people or whatever. I am what I am. And we will get there and they'll be like, I loved your service. I'm getting a 5-star review, a tip,
And tip,
because
you want some
everybody likes
water?
best.
Yeah.
So and we've had such a diverse group. I have such a diverse group of customers. We've had people of every ethnicity, we've had language barriers. We've had people from different countries like Ethiopia, people from Australia, and part of it is Vegas. It's an international place anyway. And especially when I do trade shows, a lot of the people aren't even based in America, and they're coming from
Mm-hmm.
somewhere else. We did that robot back thing from a chiropractor. One of the guy was in Vietnam. The other one was in Germany, and so then they ended up hiring me. So, but everybody agrees with best, and if they see people that are similar to them
Mm-hmm. With a five
say
star
you're
review,
good,
they're going to
five
say,
star,
I
and
want you.
the consistency of it, that's kind of what's united me, because a lot of my clients wouldn't necessarily talk to each other, but they have me as commonality. So that's kind of where the common ground is everybody resonates with best. If you do look at sports or a movie or whatever, like cult classics, all sorts of people watch movies that are cult classics like Back to the Future, stuff like that. That's not the same group of people that watch it, but they're all united by this good storyline.
Yes. And so Sean is saying that's very, very informative. As you said, you are who you are, and at the end of the day, it's business connections makes your business grow. And it again, it's that service, Sean. So the second mile service is what it actually is. So every client gets treated the
Thank
same.
you. I appreciate everybody, and I'm glad I've been able, because people have been saying thank you for the answers and everything. So I'm glad I've been helpful. Mhm.
So we go to the hood. We'd have been in Crips territory, Bloods territory. We go all over everywhere, and that's why the clients are so diverse.
And
Huh?
people have the most interesting things. Like we went to an
Hey,
actual
Lorenzo.
Crip's house, blued
Yes,
out, and we were building a rabbit habitat for his daughter because she was going to
yes,
start breeding rabbits.
yes. Okay. And so the point is, Sean, is that it's second mile service. So people say go the extra mile, but when you go to the second mile, you have the ability. And no, by the way, we have never asked for a review. Ever, never, ever, never. This is on people's own. They will book her and say, I saw the reviews and it's true. How do I review? We'll be there 10 minutes. So how do I review and how do I tip? 10 minutes
and
into the appointment.
and
10
part of it
minutes.
is be technically competent as a principal of real leadership too. And
Yes.
what happened was when I was younger and less confident and less competent, people would question my skill set, and then I would kind of work through. But with my last 2 years, so from all of 2024, 2025, people don't even ask me. They're like, "Yep, you're good, you got it." They're not questioning my, because
I trust you. I trust
I
you.
have the
You're an
presence.
expert.
And
Yeah.
if you look at my building highlight on my Instagram page, you will see how I've transitioned into being more confident as a business person and stuff. Like, I look like a contractor now. I look like when I walk in, I know what's happening, as opposed to before I was like, I'm gonna get it eventually, but I'm still gonna do the best I can, as opposed to now I'm here, it's gonna be best. And I come into appointments like, it really doesn't matter what it is, I'm gonna leave and it's gonna be done awesome.
Yes, unless there's a piece missing out the box, and then
Yeah.
it's not possible. Okay, so what you're saying, Nolan, if anybody else has any questions, go ahead and ask the questions. So what you're saying, Nola, is there was a point when you weren't coachable, you thought you knew everything, you was like, I don't need to know anything. Then you became an adult, and then you had your moments of failure or not at best, and then so you started becoming coachable, and then it's when at that point when you became coachable, you realized that you could go beyond your QE existence, and there was this other levelness of being, but be
Yes.
well. There's this other level. So you could be a QE and you could be smart, you could have a high IQ, or you could be the best. And those two are not the same.
And
Not
it's
at all.
limited if you just stay at where your IQ is, because the thing that she said was smart. So based upon her IQ, she shouldn't know, I don't want to say nothing, but she shouldn't be as smart as she is. She's smarter than most of the people that have a higher IQ than her, because that's what you can continue to increase. So if you just stay where you are, you're going to be limited and you're cutting yourself off from meeting your maximum potential.
Well, and the one thing about it is that, and then we can, let me say this and then you can answer Lorenzo's question. One thing about it, your IQ is what you're born with. But once I found out that you could be as smart as you wanted to be, I'm like, I don't care that I got an average IQ. That doesn't matter, because I'm going to go to the hippocampus bank of neurons and I'm going to make daily withdrawals every single day. And I'm going to pass you because all you know is what you know over there. And I don't have a problem looking stupid. I don't have a problem looking dumb. I'm cool with that because I'm going to master it. And that's the whole point about being coachable, is you got to understand you don't know everything, but you can learn anything. And so Lorenzo said, how do you filter through critique, people please? Hold up. I people please, so I take everyone's advice, which sometimes gets me in trouble.
What I will say is that, um most of the time, and I said this on the last live, is that I didn't actually listen to people at all, which wasn't a good thing. And I
Right.
had a high level of confidence, and I'm like, if you don't agree with me, fuck you. So I wasn't actually a people pleaser. But what I will say is what she's been saying recently in multiple videos is, does this benefit my brain? So does this benefit my brain, or I can throw in there now, is this going to make me my best? So if what they're telling you to do doesn't benefit your brain and it's not going to make you your best, then you shouldn't do it. And then even another thing, which is a good housekeeping, is like, what are their intentions for telling me to do this? Like, do they even want me to succeed? Are they trying to help me, or is this for their own personal gain?
Right. And so Jessica says it's getting out of the comfort zone. That's right. Leave it, burn it, trash it, never go back to it. And then Sean says, hold up. Sean says, last question. Did you ever at any point have them do a survey rating, even if that's needed?
Are you talking
No.
about my customer, or who? Who? Which
You,
one of us?
you.
A survey?
It was never needed, because what happens is we set up because obviously I worked at Frito-Lay, Fortune 100 company, and being in the Army and being the best, I know what it takes to have second mile service. So when I was setting up the business model, after every appointment, we conducted every appointment, not at the end of every day, after every appointment, we conducted an after action review. And I can send you the links to the Chat GPT links, Sean, if you message me and remind me. And so after every appointment, we went through the after action review, which I learned in the military to do. And then we looked for improvement. So first thing is, when she started putting together the IKEA furniture, we were unfamiliar with it. And it wasn't a lot of videos. So at the end of every appointment, we took home the manual. So we ended up with a stack of manuals like this because people would order everything in seasons. And so the frightened couch kept going. bed of thing, the Brenda's bed, the Norley bed. And so we would look at the manual ahead of time, look at a video, and then be prepared for the appointment. So by 6 months in, literally we had questions. So as soon as you book her, whether it's online, text message, or through TaskRabbit, you get a list of questions depending on what you need. And from there, you send pictures, and she's extremely prepared for the appointment. Are the boxes in the room? Where is it going? If it's an organization. So there's this whole process that's extremely fluid. So by the time she shows up at the door, bringing the doorbell, getting through security or whatever, if it's a business, we know exactly what we're doing. And then I clean up, I cut the boxes up, I take it to the dumpster, I vacuum, I get all the styrofoam up and everything is set up. So the whole experience from the
And
time they
after action
contact her,
review works with
huh?
anything, after action review works with anything you want to be best in, because it's only from improving it bit by bit that you get to that. And you have to see, like, this is where I am. How do I improve it? And one thing that I could say from our actual sports experience is people will say, look at film. I look at film different than other people. So they'll just look at what happened, and I'm looking at micro stuff, like how did this small part of your body, because these little details, and that's what she told me, it's in the details, it's the
Right.
small stuff that differ make you different from good to great, from okay to best. So it's analyzing each little thing.
So that came from me when I was in the military. I used to break starch every day. But if I had a thread on my uniform, I would burn it off. So people kept lighters in their pocket and everything had to be pristine. My boots looked like mirrors and just everything was just right dressed,
She
covered
took
down,
it to a
40
whole
inches
nother
all
level
around.
though, because she
Yeah.
still looked better than the other soldiers, but
I
yeah.
did. Well, I'm me. So yeah, yeah. But anyway, because there was a battalion photo of me, and my uniform still looks better than everybody else. My mother was like, when I sent her the photo, she said, "How y'all all got the same thing on, and you still look better than them?" Because I'm me. I'm a, I'm a best the shit out of something. And so yes, I agree with what you're saying, Lorenzo, about the IQ and all of that. But being the best means what is best? What does it look like? And people want to be first, but first is not best. That's why we are thermostats and not thermometer. We are the standard by which excellence is measured. And I'll tell you all one more story. If you have any more questions for Nola, just go ahead and type them in. When Nola was in homeschool, she's going to tell me what class it was. I think it was English. And the teacher specifically said,
U.S. history.
U.S. history. The teacher specifically said there will be no extra credit on this assignment. Nola turned her assignment in and she got extra credit. And so she said,
Yeah,
okay,
I got
nobody else.
106% on it.
Yes, and then she asked Nola could she use the paper for next semester as the standard for how the papers needed to be turned in. So she literally said no extra credit. Nola got extra credit, 106 points, and it was the standard for the next semester. So when you go above and beyond, which is also one of the 74 principles of real leadership, now you're not concerned with anybody else. It doesn't matter because I'm the best. I am the baddest mofo in the room. Now y'all can figure out who's going to be number two or who's going to be next to me, but when you're the best, you're at the top.
And
Yes,
that's
ma'am.
happened to me even with the symbol. I've had customers have doubts, and then they'll be like, "Well, what other services do you do? And can I
Yes.
give my number to my sister? Or where did we leave a review? Can I tip you in cash?" So they go from, "Do you know what you're
Uh-huh.
doing?" to "How can you come back? I'm recommending you
Or
to other people. I'm gonna give you a review and a tip."
and the other thing is they'll say, I hired somebody else. I had another tasker. Can you look in the bathroom? Because what they had, I had a handyman come over here. And my thing on my toilet, do you do hot water heaters? And then it turns into this whole other thing because she's only 5'3", 110, 112 pounds. And they're looking at, oh,
Hey,
are you
she's
supposed to be in
110.
school?
It's
Yeah,
5'3",
110.
110.
And now they're looking at her like, aren't you supposed to be in school? Where's your mama at? And she's like, well, she in the car. So she knows I'm
Knows
here.
I'm here. That the last 2 years though, between me cutting my hair and stuff, people know I'm at least an adult now. But the first 2 years with me only being 18, 19, and I was extra baby face looking and I had my hair, I definitely looked like I was still in school. Now I just look like a young adult. But I look
Right.
like I was taking classes at somebody's high school.
Yes. And Lorenzo said, um, and it keeps competition from getting to you because it gives you tunnel vision. Yeah,
Well,
it did.
this is what I will say. It isn't a competition because you're only competing with your past self. You're becoming a bester you.
Right. That's 100,000%. So, in summary, ladies and gentlemen, thank you for attending. That's the second principle of real leadership. It is to be coachable. And the reason why Nola is here, this was her idea. Nola has 3 mental illnesses, ADD, ADHD, and a slight touch of autism. And so she's showing you with no meds, wire your brain to do what you want to do, and you can do extraordinary things. So when people start talking about, Dr. Donna, you don't understand, I get to say, look, I got a low IQ. I don't want to hear that bullshit. And you say, well, you don't understand. I got mental illness in my family. Okay, me too. I got a child. She's going to tell you what she did specifically to ensure that she's not the person that she used to be, and how to wire your brain around all of those things and make new connections, because the brain is plastic. You do get to have new neurons when you challenge yourself. And when you challenge yourself, now you get to have these otherworldly experiences, and you just become an expert in all these things that you didn't think were possible. Because, yes, no one has it harder. Then who? The Nola? That's what you're saying, Lorenzo? So you can makes the impossible possible is another one of the 74 principles of real leadership. So when you use, and I challenge all of you to go to the website, go to the 74 principles of real leadership and look at them. They are principles and behaviors for you to access your best. They have nothing to do with sexual orientation, religious background, social economic status, education, gender. No,
I don't think
nothing.
Dr. Donna. Yeah, that's more accurate. Yeah.
Right, exactly. So the point that I'm making is you have an amazing brain. It has 86 billion neurons. You have the potential to create 860 trillion synaptic connections or more. Yes, much bigger, much bigger. Yes, definitely. But that's
Yes.
okay, because I'm going to change the world. Definitely. Y'all all come to the Nobel Prize party too. Look, that's what's going to happen. So in summary, you have the ability to do it. And that's why Instagram subscription is where you start at, because it's you got to do this every day. Like Nola said last time, it's skin. You got to put it on and you can't take it off. And you have to become this person that knows I could be my best, leave the comfort zone, like Jessica said, and just be committed to being your best self, independent of anybody else. As Nola mentioned, you're just competing with who you were yesterday. That's it. There is no other competition. It is you versus you. And when you become the best, now people just resonate with you, and whatever it is that you're doing, you're sought after. My job at Frito-Lay, I was sought after. I was at a DOT assessor, a CIMT assessor. I was working on rewriting the continuous improvement master training and all of the training for the company. And my traffic center went from 29 out of 29 to 1 out of 29. And I was speaking at the National Safety Conference with my drivers, because they were trying to figure out, y'all was the worst in the company. How the hell in a year did y'all get up to the top? How did y'all get up? Because I'm me. Because I'm like that. So I know how to do best. And it doesn't matter what it is. I speak best. That's the best language that you can speak. I'm fluent in badass. That's what it is. And I'm telling you, you can be badass too. You can be the baddest mofo walking the face of the planet Earth right along with me. It is possible, but you got to put in the work. Nola wasn't putting in the work, and it wasn't working out. Now she's putting in the work, and that's why we're doing this live together. So I was like, I don't go live with nobody. But she has 365 consecutive day challenges. She's earned the right to share the mic and the camera with me and demonstrate to other people what's actually possible. So
Well,
it doesn't
we're
matter.
moving. We're moving before we run out of time from Instagram.
Okay. What are
Okay.
you doing?
Don't worry about it.
Don't worry
All
about it. See,
right.
look at that respect. Treat people with dignity and respect. Look at that. That's what I'm talking about.
Hopefully. Okay,
Okay,
see.
there we go.
There you
Oh,
go.
those are her certificates. That's what
Booyah,
she's showing
baby.
y'all.
That's what it is.
Yes. So those are her 3 different 365-day certificates. Nola is patient 0. I'm patient 0. She's 1. That's because
Yeah,
I had to do all this myself first, on me and then her. So yeah,
I'm the
she's
lab
1.
rat.
Yes, she is. That is true. And no one has the second hardest than Nola, because she she is my offspring. So I'm like, that's an awesome wall, right?
I did good with picking out the fronts and stuff. Yeah, they really go with the
Yes.
certificates. Thank you. Yes.
So can makes the impossible possible. So when you think you can't do something and you think I can't get through a 30-day challenge, those is 365-day certificates. Not 300, not 330 days, 365-day challenges. Consecutive with no restarts. That's what that is. So it is possible. That's why soon as TikTok switches over to Monday, They're gonna switch over. And so the process is you start on TikTok and that's like basic training. You come over here to Instagram and this is like AIT subscriptions. And then you set yourself up to be able to do 30-day challenges and then real leader resources and then 365-day challenges. And you too will be able to do anything that you set your mind to. It is possible, 100%. This ain't no, hey, and if I got some snake oil, and if you drink this water, you're gonna be a genius. No, if you work your ass off and you do it every single day, you will get the results that are sustainable. Everything
Well,
over here is sustainable, unless you
that's
stop
the
wiring and
the
firing,
thing I'm the most
firing and
cautious
wiring.
about. That's why 23 completed projects is on my thing, because the whole thing with
2300,
ADHD. That's what I
2300.
said. 2300.
Okay.
The whole thing with ADHD is ADHD people can't complete projects, and I'm like, completed 2300, tracked.
Yes,
So
definitely.
I defunct that whole thing.
Right. So it's not true with no meds. The works, as you says, yes, and no
Mhm.
meds whatsoever. Fully conscious, nothing at all. So you can do it. Thank you very much. This is the beginning. We will be here every Friday. We believe that Friday it works best for us, and there's not a lot going on television, and so people can do
Even
it.
if there is,
Even
people need to be here so they can get
right.
better.
Right, exactly. And so
And
Fridays at 5 going forward, we will be here going through the 74 principles of real leadership. And then when we get to the end of that, we will do something else. Damien, how are you? Oh my goodness, how's school going? You got to send me a message. How are you doing? Message me. I would like to know what's taking place for you. All right. So you all go off and have a great, fantastic rest of your Friday. I will be back tomorrow live on TikTok at 4 a.m., live on YouTube at 5:30 a.m. Still talking about dopamine on TikTok, and leverage your strengths and understand your weaknesses is what we're going to be talking about on YouTube.
will these lives usually be this length? The goal was for it to be 30 minutes, but we got here talking.
Right. So the
So
goal
they're
is to
not going
get
to
it
be
to,
more than an hour.
yes, they can't be more than an hour because it's Instagram, but the goal is to get them down to 30 minutes. And so we're figuring it out. And this is only number 2. So we're trying to get it down to 30 minutes. That is the objective. And hopefully we're going to get there, still working on the format. But yes, can't be more than an hour because Instagram will kick us off.
It will cut it off.
Yes, automatically. It will give me a countdown clock any minute now and tell me that
Yeah,
that's
because
it.
we got here on 4:57, so we gotta go.
Yep.
We got it.
Wrap it up. So you all go off and enjoy the rest of your Friday. Like I said, I'll be live on TikTok tomorrow at 4 a.m., YouTube at 5:30 a.m. Yes. Okay. Go, Envy. Bye bye. Y'all go have a great day. Take care.
All
Adios.
right. Bye bye.